questions.
Yes.
When do you think semi-private is going to start? And you talked about homework. What is going to be the commitment for homework per week?
Yeah, and you know, as far as projection time, we're looking mid-October. We're trying for about like the 15th or 17th, whatever that Monday is. That's what we're really pushing for. Homework is really nothing more than your corrective exercise prescription. So it's literally here's these 4 or 6 exercises. Try to hit these 2 to 3 times a day is really what we're going to recommend. So it's not anything that you have to study or anything like that. It's literally, you'll have the descriptions of the exercises that each time you do them will take you probably about 3 to 4 minutes. So we're talking about 10 minutes per day, you know, in a perfect world. If you do them once a day, are you going to get improvement? Absolutely. If you do them 2 to 3 times a day, you'll get it a lot faster. That's kind of why we always recommend 2 to 3, hoping that you at least do 1 to 2. You know, so that's that. There's a question over here too.
Yeah. I have 2 questions,
yes.
sir. When you do the consultation with us, is it a one-on-one scheduled appointment where no one else is like standing around waiting to come up and it's just the trainer and the person?
Yep. And basically that happens during the FMS.
Okay.
It's pretty much how that happens. So it's one-on-one time. So basically we might have 2 FMSs going on at one time, but I'm going to be doing it over here where Tyler's going to be FMSing over there. So basically it's all going to be one-on-one approach. It's not going to be like next, so on and so forth like that.
Okay. And the second question, the deal you just showed.
Yes.
What about if you're already a year member? You signed up for a year.
Right, for the boot camp?
Yeah.
Type deal, we can certainly work something out with that as well. We can work something out with that. And basically, you know, so you're talking unlimited?
No, if you have that 2-lesson gig up there
right.
for a year, but suppose you've already signed up for a year.
Sure.
You've paid
with the boot camp?
Yeah.
How many sessions a week are you with that?
4.
Okay. So we can even
2 and 2, for example.
Right, yeah, we can talk about working something out of that.
Yeah.
We talk about that. That's definitely going to be an issue, you know, as far as with a lot of people do. So we actually do have a pricing ratio for that as well. For it too. Exactly, just swap off, more or less.
1 or 2.
Yep. Yep, exactly. Because obviously I know that you're not going to be doing 4 here and 6 and 2 over there.
Why not?
There's 6 days.
Yeah, right? It still gives you Sundays off.
Yeah, because I'm 5 days and Lindsay's 6, and so we're trying to figure out, you know, how can we incorporate this in what we've already committed to. I think there's not enough time in the week, you know.
Totally. And, you know, and that's something that we definitely talk about too, and we definitely have some basically just some different numbers that we've actually worked out with all those different conditions in play too, so we can touch on those specifically as well. Because I know that's going to be probably a lot of people's thing, you know, moving into the semi-private as well. Yeah.
Is it pretty much an hour over there?
It is, yep. It's an hour, yep. Hour start to finish, yep.
And you try to schedule it within our thought?
Oh, no, no.
You're trying to schedule time-wise, like to fit within us, because obviously there's not as many people.
Correct. You know, how we're going to be doing it here is eventually it's going to be cool because what we'll be actually doing is having 2 trainers on the floor with 6 clients. So more or less, let's talk about 6 o'clock a.m. Or let's talk about 5:30. That's even sweeter, isn't it? So say I'm training at 5:30. Let's just say, and I have 3 clients with me. Okay. There'll also be a session starting at 6 o'clock. Because by the time we're actually done with the portions of the area that we need over there, they can be used by the other people. So basically, we'll be actually running them every half an hour, more or less, but they are an hour long. That's pretty much how that'll work. But we're going to be trying to accommodate times, and it's again 3 to 1. You know, so that's another thing as far as if you know, hey, you know, you want to go with Linda and Joni and stuff like that, and we want to do 7:30, there's 3 people right there, good, we'll pop you guys in, or whatever it might be.
Joni's
you know, so
10 o'clock.
Yeah, 10 o'clock. Yeah, Lee.
So will there be more flexibility in scheduling? Like for my husband, it was always hard for him to do that, or will it be like the boot camp where the sessions are at 7:30 and whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll pretty much be about kind of like that, you know what I mean? Because I guess once there's 3, there's 3, per se. And generally people tend to, at least from what the patterns that we've seen here, tend to like to stay where they're at. But then some people also have, you know, careers and whatnot which don't allow that, you know, as far as like I need to be here and I need to be there and so on and so forth. So we can certainly try to work something out and fit him in at different time patterns as far as, well, there's only 2 in this session, so we can get it at that time. That's the cool thing about it too, is I guess to answer that, you know, in one straight answer, yes, there will be more flexibility because the cool thing is they are running every half an hour. You know, so chances are if we can't get them at 7, we can get them at 7:30.
Right.
So to say, you know, and that's again once we really get moving, then those time frames will start to actually like right now we're running them say every hour. So say, well, once we start to need to fill in the gaps, you know, once they really start to fill up, then we'll be actually dropping down every half hour.
But once we fill the class, it'll run at that time, Right, you're not just running I think you need to be
Correct,
clear, you're
correct.
not running every hour
Yes.
all day long every day. It's once a session fills up, then
Then
we'll
we'll add.
go with that time slot. And that, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Thank you, Cassie.
Yeah.
Yes,
Just
exactly.
didn't want to commit you to 12 sessions.
Right, yeah, so we're not gonna be just starting with a full schedule all day and kind of just waiting. Well, yeah, like Cassie said, once they fill, then we'll add. When they fill, then we'll add. Continue on like that.
So will it be yourself and Tyler doing it?
Well, it's gonna be, all the trainers are gonna be doing this. All the
How many
are
trainers
doing
do you have now?
14. No, I'm just kidding. Actually 5. 5 currently. 5 currently. You know, that's another thing too, is that, you know, there's obviously questions, you know, about the trainers as well. And all our trainers are nationally certified. You know, so that's a big thing as well. Like Jim sitting over here, actually it's funny because when I met Jim, we actually found out we have the exact same educational background. So we both went to Brockport, both did exercise physiology, both went to Canisius for our masters, and both are working on the same certification. So it's cool with that too, yeah.
Will you always have the same trainer, or will you all rotate, or what?
It'll probably end up rotating. But the thing is that the routines are the routines, you know, so the system is the system with that as well. So it's cool because you might have me today, and you might have James, you know, next week on the same day, let's sort of say, and it'll be the same routine, and you really won't notice the difference because he knows you start off with 25s, let's just say. You know, so that's the cool thing, it's just going to be like, before you know it, you're going to be like this.
You'll have the routine posted, you'll have a routine?
It's cool, yeah, absolutely. We'll literally have it designed, so when you walk in the door, your routine is pretty much going to be on the wall, and I'm going to be able to walk up and I'm going to know, okay, you're starting like this, and so on and so forth. And they're all going to be designed by myself and Tyler. We're going to be doing the program design as far as how that, and we've actually developed a model which allows us to really specifically continue to progress your routine.
It'll never be more than 3 to 1.
Correct, yeah, that's the model, 3 to 1. 3 to 1 is what it is, correct. Yeah.
Could be 2 though. Some doesn't show up.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 to 1.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the model is 3 to 1. The model is 3 to 1, and again, just to provide you know, something that is different than this. You know, that's the thing, is that an important thing to realize about this is that you'll be like, oh, I know this exercise, but again, it's all about the approach. It's all about the execution of it as well. That's the interesting thing about it.
And I just want to say something from Mike and I had done it. For those of you who hadn't talked to me before, when he said that the difference between the group, which is fun, I think this is what a lot of us come for because of the camaraderie. But when we did the individual one, even though we did very similar things to boot camp, it was totally different. I literally couldn't walk, I think, for 2 days afterwards. I was like almost crying.
And not that that's the goal.
Yeah, thanks, Linda.
It was a year and a half, and that was the whole point, is that I want to get to that next phase. And that's what it does. It just, because it individualized, I mean, you know, he's watching, nope, okay, and I started, one was a stepping up on a chair, and I had to wait, and he goes, nope, he goes, put it down, now do it. And so it was just that, right there, right in your face, and it was just time. And as you have the hour in the boot camp, you're pretty much doing 30 minutes, because by the time you do the warm-ups and the talk and everything, you're 30 minutes. This is probably solid 45. 45, warm up and down, and it's just that, I mean, it was unbelievable.
And a lot of that is and it's not more or less that you're going to be doing, wow, like, because, you know, when you leave here, when I leave here, I can't do anymore. You know what I mean? So it's spread differently and it's laid out differently. So it's not like, okay, now we're just going to beat you down even harder.
Oh,
it's just, it's more specific. And like Linda said, the cool thing, and you actually brought up a good point, is that we get to do things over there that we may not be able to actually execute over here because of the individualization, hence why it needs to say 3 to 1. You know, you're going to see stuff over there that's going to be happening that again, we can't hit in a larger group. Yes, sir.
Are you available Saturdays?
To start off with, not over there. Not over there. Basically, again, it's going to be until it, say, fills up. So,
Yeah, if we get 3 people on
if
a
we get
Saturday,
if we get 3 people, yeah.
at the same time, then yeah,
you know,
it would run.
So.
Can you tell us about Recovery Week, please?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it.
Yes.
Apparently not.
But again, to kind of repeat that, it's all going to be say your same times more or less over there. But then the recovery week is again more progressively infused with your correctives, more foam rolling and things like that as well. But again, it's still going to be that 3 to 1 type of ratio as well. Yes.
I guess I can assume though that if you have to be gone for a week for business or for vacation, it's the same thing as you would for boot camp. You just let Cassie know.
Yes.
And it pushes it off.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
Are you going to continue with the, still the, say, some of the regular boot camp sessions are
No, it'll always be one, yep, exactly. It'll always be one back too. Yep.
Rescheduling may be a little bit more hairy than it is over here, because there'll obviously be only certain times where I'd be able to fit you in for a reschedule.
Okay.
Just something to think about.
Okay. Gotcha.
So are you
Does that
trying to
make
wait to
sense?
see how many
It does make
people sign
sense,
up?
because if you have to push off, I mean,
Well, we've actually already started building up the time slots, because we've already got a bunch of people who signed up from the paid in full special and whatnot, so we've already got a bunch of time slots already filled. If you're interested, or when you actually do end up signing up, we more or less talk to you individually and say, what about times you're looking for? And that's kind of how we're trying to build the time slots, is basically around where you guys want to be, and kind of where everyone kind of wants to be. So we can basically fit you in and kind of give you a couple options as far as, well, we got a bunch of people, there's 2 other people who want this time, and it's right about that time, so, we're trying to work it out that way, to kind of establish our starting point, as opposed to just throwing times out there, so it's like that.
So you'd be pairing with anybody, or are you gonna pair them with people with similar?
It's a great question. That's a great question. It's literally anyone, because the thing is that it's your routine based upon my, with my routine and Tyler's routine, let's just say. So we're all going to be doing completely different stuff anyway, so you guys may have never met before, and that's okay. But you could be best friends, and you'll still be doing different routines, because you have different needs than Bob does, than anyone does. You know what I mean? So basically, it can be either or. People you know or people you don't, and it really won't.
Or with your loved ones.
Right. What better way
Oh, I
to
know,
spend
Jeff,
your
you know,
time?
Jeff, you're together.
Right. What better quality time? No, that's a great question though. That's actually a really good question. Something I probably should have included. So thank you. Any other questions on that, you guys?
I was just gonna say, that corrective movements that we give you too as well, you can do some of that homework when we first come in at the very beginning. So instead of kind of just using that time to kind of, not mingle, but we of course can mingle a little bit, but you can use the time, maybe 10, 15 minutes coming early and kind of do the corrective movements then too.
That's a great point. Yeah, so basically your pre-warm-up, say when you're in boot camp, you can still do your correctives too as well. And of course we'll be able to help you. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? So on and so forth with that. Because those should be done, like I said, several times per day, and they really make a huge difference, in your feel and your performance and so on and so forth with that. Another thing too, I want you guys to know that we're actually investing in is actually called, and this isn't done yet, but I talked to a couple of you guys about it. We're actually buying a company called The Diet Doc, and this is basically a full integrated nutrition program, and I'll have a lot more details coming on about it, but it's more or less the semi-private of nutrition. All right, so it's full accountability, weekly check-ins, menus that are actually built for you upon more or less an interview, okay, and grocery lists and so on and so forth. So we all know that nutrition is just a huge portion of success and failure in a lot of cases as well, because a lot of times you just don't like it. Don't like what you're actually involved in nutrition-wise and whatnot. This is basically going to be infused to mitigate any of those type of situations, as far as we actually build menus for you, again, upon what you like. What you don't like is basically taken out, and then from there, we actually literally give you grocery lists, check in with you guys weekly. We can actually go into your system and see, okay, how's Bob doing this week? Did he miss? Okay, here's an issue right there, and we'll actually literally be checking with you guys accountability-wise with that to make sure that you're getting nutrition. That's me another thing. Yes. That should be within a month and a half. Before the New Year, definitely. Hey guys, thank you guys so much for coming. If you guys have any more questions, please feel free to stick around.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
I don't know. My legs, I'm telling you,
And that's all she wrote.